Shabaz, aka Shabaz Says.
Shabaz Ali is now an award-winning content creator.
Shabaz and I did a podcast about a year ago.
It was the first one I
The
did.
first.
Yeah.
You said, I still don't feel successful.
A year on, I still don't feel...
Oh, Shabaz!
I have done stuff that isn't my thing. I absolutely smashed it online. People have loved it. I haven't, though.
What was the process actually like?
Publishers are really backwards and they have no idea what they're doing. They were going, but we got you a newspaper article. Yes, brilliant, The Guardian, The Sun. No, this brand were offering such a good amount. I said no to it. In the long run, what it's done for me is my audience has gone, he has integrity. I mean, it would have been great, honestly. If they'd stuck a few more zeros on it, probably might have thrown my integrity out the window. No, I'm kidding. It is so important for your business, for your brand to...
Hey everybody, and welcome to this episode of the Success School podcast. I just want to say thank you so much for being here and taking time to listen to the show today. And I also just want to make sure you are aware that my whole mission with this podcast is to be able to give people access to conversations that are going to enlighten, they're going to inspire, and they're going to give you the information needed to genuinely start to live a happier, a healthier, and a more fulfilling life. But here's the thing, I am just one man. So that's really, really hard to get a lot of people to be positively impacted when I'm doing this alone. So I'm just going to ask a little favor. And I know you're probably sick of hearing this. You probably hear it on every podcast you listen to. But please, if you genuinely do think this podcast is valuable and can help people, if you could just take a second to hit that subscribe button and maybe go one further, tell other people about it, share it on your Insta stories, anything you can do to help bring more awareness to the show would be greatly appreciated. Thanks for being here, and I really hope you enjoy this episode. Shabaz, welcome. How are you doing, mate?
I'm good, thank you.
So I want to start with, Shabaz and I did a podcast about a year ago, literally just after, I think it was. It was one of your first podcasts, is that right?
It was the first one I
The
did.
first.
Yeah.
I took his virginity, everybody. We did it. Podcast virginity. There was something that you said on the episode when we were talking about success.
Yeah.
And you said, even though you've at that point got millions of followers and people that love you and resonate with your stuff, even though you're doing all the amazing work as a teacher, you said, I still don't feel successful.
A year on, I still don't feel successful.
Oh, Shabaz!
No, okay, I'm better at it now.
Okay.
I'm definitely better at it. I think I came from working class background, and I think it's just something that we brought up with, especially being northern as well.
Yeah.
We're told success is really, really high. And anytime you climb somewhere, there's always another goalpost to achieve. There's always something else that you need to be doing. I've come to a point now where I am just at that place where I'm like, I don't actually know what success is, and I'm fine with that. So I think that's probably more than that's like I'm happy. Is that successful? Then yeah. I'm happier. I've got some work to do.
You still have shit days, right?
Yeah.
Do you think that's healthy, though? Constantly feeling like, do you know what? I'm happy doing what I'm doing, but equally, there's still more I want to achieve. There's still more that I can do. I don't feel like I've arrived and I can just settle now.
I think you need to, there's a fine line. There's a fine line between wanting to achieve more and that being your sole purpose in life. And I think a lot of people are, confusing the message. Like they're telling themselves, I need more to be happy. Whereas I'm, like I said, I'm content and I am still aspirational. I still want to achieve more, but it's not my sole purpose. It's not the only reason I wake up in the day. You know what I mean?
What would you say if there's somebody that is in that place where they need it, and they struggle to be happy because they may be struggling day to day? What would you say to them to help them?
I'd say, the thing is, it's difficult because I always find, because I've now reached a level of success, I guess, on social media. It's always,
you said it.
Yeah,
Own it, Shabaz.
It's always one of those things where I find it difficult to then give advice because I feel like a lot of people are like, it's like a really rich person telling you not to worry about money.
Yeah.
that's because you have it. So you can say to somebody, oh, don't worry about money when you have it, because I have to worry about money if I don't have it. And the same thing with someone that's trying to be successful or make social media success or any type of business. Somebody like Richard Branson saying, don't worry about it, it'll come.
Yeah. Cheers, Rich.
You've got it. That's why so it's always difficult. Not that I'm saying their advice isn't good. It's just, it's difficult. So for me, I'd say anyone that does have that mindset, remember that tomorrow when you do, if you were to, I've always said this when working, if I walked out of here and I got run over, what have I left behind? What legacy have I left behind? I used to say this about teaching. I taught for years and it was a black hole. Like I taught and I'd stayed in school till 7, 8, 9 o'clock at night. And it was a teacher that once said that to me. And she was like, I've been doing this for 60 years. She was retiring. And she said that tomorrow, if you walked out that door, by the end of the week, there'd be an advertisement for your job.
Yep.
Let your sole purpose, have ambition, be ambitious, work for it. But don't let that be your sole purpose of existing. That's just not, there's more to life than that. That's why,
Let's talk a little bit about your journey with social media.
Yeah.
Because I think it's very easy for people to see the millions of followers and they can be like, yeah, it's quite funny, just sat there in his hoodie, just ripping into people like Lisa.
Not like Lisa, because she's...
Yeah.
Being
like
rich
Lisa.
is not a problem. Can I just say, being rich is not an issue.
Yeah,
It's
we
what you
should
do with it,
clarify
yeah.
because we were speaking about this earlier, wasn't we? Do you want to just talk about that actually first? About because there is a very different message. It's not saying don't be rich. It's not saying it's not saying don't aspire to be rich either, is it?
No, like that's what I said. Like, have money, and if that's what you want to do and you want to make a better life for yourself, why not? It's saying that you don't have to rub it in other people's faces, especially with where we live in at the current climate. There are so many people that struggle. And social media is so big at the moment that you're constantly bombarded, and that's where the book came from. It's this constant bombardment of be more, want more, have more, and look at what I've got and look at what you don't have. I'm rich, you're poor. You know what I mean? It doesn't need to be in people's faces all the time. You can buy nice things. You can go on holidays. Do you really need to tell everybody? It's like going up to a homeless person. You're not going to go up to a homeless person in the street and going, guess what? I spent £630 on a meal. But yet you're doing it online for the world to see. I've personally it doesn't sit right with me, and that's why I criticize that.
So let's talk about the journey now of social media, because people can think, overnight success, does some funny videos, blows up, got lucky, that'll never happen for me. Tell us a little bit about the reality of that journey and the work that did go into it.
Well, I started making videos in 2013. I was making them for fun, and I always have maintained I make videos for fun. So like I won't post for 3-4 days because I'm not in the right frame of mind. I just don't want to. But I started making videos on YouTube and it was just because I used to like taking the mic, and I thought, oh, I'll do it online and just poke fun. And then dipped in and out, worked on it, didn't work on it, did the thing where, it wasn't picking up that many views. I was seeing people get millions of views, and I was thinking, well, it's not for me then, clearly. If I'm not getting the views and only like 100 people are watching it, why should I do it? Dropped off, and then lockdown happened, and then, we didn't have anything else to do. You know what I mean? I mean, obviously, apart from the key workers, shout out to you guys, you were working. Yeah. But like most people were just sat doing nothing, and I thought, well, let me carry on doing that. But I found that, and I said this on the podcast, when I started to make content I enjoyed making, or I found funny, I found relatable, that's when the success started happening. That's when people started joining in. And Lisa made a really interesting point, that saying that when you start to enjoy what you do, that's when other people will see it. It's integrity. So all I did was, my message was that I found it absurd how the internet people were behaving. And then all of a sudden, everyone was like, I get that. I enjoy that. I understand that. Whereas prior to that, I was doing the TikTok trends, the dances, the controversial things. I was making statements left, right, and center all over the show just to get views, to get attention. And somebody said to me, which is really interesting, they said, if you really want the views, create a meme page. You're going to get the views. Are you really going to get a loyal audience? Are you going to get a brand? Are you going to get a bunch of people are you inspiring anyone? You're not. Any one of you could just go out there now, steal a bunch of memes on the internet, and you'll get millions of views. have you got an audience that is loyal to you? Have you got a group of people that you're inspiring, or a brand? You won't have that. So there's people out there with, I know people that do similar videos to me, and they're raking in 10, 11, 20 million views. You look at the comments, barely 100. There's a disconnect there, isn't it? They've got the numbers, a bunch of people are watching their stuff, but are they really, is there a bigger conversation being had? No. And that's what it is. So don't focus too much on the numbers. But yeah, it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy.
I think there's a lot we can take from what Shabaz has said there in terms of it wants to be something you genuinely enjoy, not being somebody you're not. It wants to be authentic. It wants to be something you stand by. It's not just, I'll say that because it'll get the views. And you want to actually build a community, which again follows on beautifully from what Lisa was talking about. And this is what I was saying at the beginning, right? There's these threads, there's these commonalities when you hear about why people have had the success that they've had. Aside from that, Shabaz, is there anything else in terms of practical that you've learned along the way? It might be more recently, or it might, because I know initially the biggest thing that helped you was the stuff you've already covered, which has been just having fun, enjoying what you do. But now for anybody listening now, if they want something a bit more practical, is there things you've picked up along the way that you would suggest?
Yeah, 100%. Consistency.
Yeah.
Be consistent. If it doesn't happen overnight, just keep being consistent. Like I said to you, I was making these videos for a while. I started making videos, these kind of videos, back end of 2021, and it was only a full year later, end of 2022, when it just started blowing up. But it was for a full year I was making videos on the same subject that, I'm rich, your poor stuff that I was talking about. So to anyone that doesn't know, I just poke fun at people on the internet that show off about what they have. So, these influencers that go on holidays and brand trips and look at my brand new house and look at my brand new car and all that kind of stuff. And I started poking fun at that. And it took a year before people were like, it started going viral and people started seeing it and people started responding to it. So consistency massively. If your audience knows that you are posting every Thursday, they are coming back every Thursday. You know what I mean? That's something that you do. And there's a lot of people that might have a business or a brand. Please use social media. Even if you're someone that goes, I don't understand that social media thing, I don't want to get on that social media thing, I don't even have TikTok on my phone, you do not understand. We're in 2024. It is so important for your business, for your brand, to get on social media. Look at businesses that have fully fledged histories, like the likes of Heinz, who, have been going for years, big brands, designer brands. Why are they all on social media? Why have they all got influencers dancing for them and, going to Dubai or wherever else they're going? Because they know that's where the money is at the moment, and that's where the success or the following or whatever it is that you want to do with your business, that's where it is. Social media is so important. I mean, I know a lot of people hate it, don't they? I mean, when somebody hears influencer, a bunch of you rolled your eyes, are like, influencer, here we go. But I'm telling you that there is so much there for you. And some of the most successful brands I've seen, when Threads first came about, it's been a year since Threads came about, and Channel 4, Aldi, big names, they are smashing it because they were authentic. They got one person on there who was literally just chaotic. And what they were doing was just being a normal person, but using social media that was there for them. So if there's anyone here that's launching a business or has a business, please get on social media and find whatever it is that you want to post, but post it out there. The more people see it, it takes one video to go viral. And honestly, that's eyes on your page. Or just send it to me and I'll post it out there for you. I love doing that.
Yeah, thanks for that, by the way. So that's obviously there's a big thing there about the consistency of posting. What about in terms of the next thing for a lot of people, I imagine, is they don't know what to post. And to consistently post something good, I'm interested in if you find that a pressure now in terms of the bigger you are as well as an expectation. And we talk about things like writer's block and so on. How do you stay posting consistently good stuff? Because also, I would say, I don't know if anyone agrees with this, but in terms of being good at comedy, it's one of the hardest things to do well consistently. Really is. And also, what I've come to learn is comedians, generally, we think they're just daft. Like, most people think Shabaz is just quite relatable and daft. They're some of the smartest, most intelligent people to be able to do that.
No,
Apart from Shabaz.
No,
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 I'm
you're
kidding.
no, 100%. And I think people have forgotten that. Like, I have 2 degrees, I have a master's, I've been a teacher for years. People see the Udi, the clown, the poking fun, and
Harry
do
Potter.
not, you know what I mean, and don't see that actually there's an intelligent person behind that. And one thing I found that that's worked for me is that posting consistently, but when I have those down days, I just don't post.
Yeah.
And genuinely, if I don't feel, I'm the worst person though, because I don't think any of my content's funny ever. Like, I'll post it and I'm like, I saw something, I said what I said, and I posted it, and then all of a sudden a bunch of people are like, oh my God, that's the funniest thing I've ever heard. And I'm like, where? So like, what did I say that was funny? But that's what I'm saying, you're your own worst enemy, and especially as Northerners, especially as people from small old cotton mill towns, we do get told that you're not going to achieve much. So we're very self-critical. I'm very self-critical. So like I said to you, some of my most viral videos I posted and went to bed and thought, I just posted it because I needed to post something or felt like I wanted to. They've been viral. People have loved them. People have laughed at them. And I've gone, what did I say? That was so funny. And like, even my own mom who, birthed me and does not find me funny at all, she was like, oh my God, your video was so funny. And I was like, you know me and you're still saying that. So yeah, I think there are days where you just need a day off, but I would say just take that day off. But posting regularly, and what to post is a question you asked. Just look at what's trending and what works for your brand and what works for you. Again, authenticity matters. So if I'm not a dancer and I'm not into makeup and I'm not into fashion, can you imagine all of a sudden I started telling you about makeup? You'd be like, shut the you know what I mean? What are you on about? Why are you telling me something about that's nothing to do with you?
Have you tried though, Shabaz? I know.
No,
Does anyone
no,
else want
no.
to see that? No, you've heard it. You've planted the seed.
I do a makeup review. I have done that. Not makeup. I have done stuff that isn't my thing, and it's absolutely smashed it online. People have loved it. I haven't though, and that's what's really important. So I had a brand that worked with me, and I don't want to say their name, but they were a huge brand. And what happened was they diluted my video down so much to the point that I hate that video, and I got paid so well for it, and it did so well, but I hate it because it wasn't me, because it was everything I'm not. And that's one thing that I hated was being where I am now. Back in the day, I could just post what I feel like. Whereas now, a brand will approach me and say, can you do this video for me? They will have their version of what they want, especially when it's, a brand that's not really in touch with social media. Someone high up in an office somewhere that's gone, get a bunch of influencers to advertise our biscuits. And then I've been given this thing and I've gone, do you know what would be really funny if I took the piss out of it or I do something that I want to do? And they've gone, what we'd like you to do is perhaps do a makeup review about the biscuit. Well, that's not what I do. So if you want me to do what I want to do, that's not going to work. So I've done it before and I hated that video. It was honestly made me so upset because I just hated how I was coming across. And the people that know me saw it instantly. They were like, you are not you in that video. You can tell you're frustrated. You can tell you're annoyed. And the views were there because obviously they put money behind it, but the genuine interaction, my audience wasn't there. The people that I built the following for weren't there. They saw it and they were like, and that was.
What's your advice in terms of people navigating, as you have got bigger and there is more opportunity and there is money being suggested and things like that? How do you, in all that madness, I mean, you've been on red carpet events, film premieres, how do you stay true to you when you've got people saying, Shabaz, this makes great business sense, we know it does, and you say no? How do you have the courage, how do you have the confidence, and how do you navigate that?
It's not easy. That's something I've learned. Because I was always one of those people that follow the crowd. If my manager said you're doing that, I'd be writing those reports up or doing 5 parents' evenings in a row. Whereas I got to a point where I had to think about how my mental health was doing and about myself. And I think a lot of people will give up what matters to them over someone else's opinion. And like I said to you, you could walk out of here and you might not, you could just be run over and that's it, that's gone, isn't it? Social media for me, I've always said this, one thing that's really important, tomorrow if Instagram decided we're shutting your account down, well, who are you then? You've lost your followers, so who are you? What exactly are you going to do? If I have built such a loyal audience and built such a following, I could open up a brand new account and they will all come along. That's what's important. So there are times where people say to me, I just think I've learned from it. I don't know where, I wish I could give you an answer, but my answer is I learned to say no. And that's the most important thing you will ever do is say no. If your gut is telling you it's not right, it's not right. And I don't care how much money is there. I don't care if the opportunity of a lifetime. If it doesn't feel right to you, it's not right for you. I've had those situations. I think we were talking about it. I've had a situation where, an opportunity's come up. It was one of really big career or move for me. I said no to it because I knew the further implications of that wasn't going to work for me. So when I first started making social media, I had people saying they were throwing this money at me, that money at me to do things that wasn't authentically for me. In the long run, that wasn't going to make me money because people were going to switch off. So I can use an example. There was a brand that wanted to work with me. I think it was like a vape brand. And I have young people following me. I'm not promoting that to young people. That's not my message. I'm not doing that. The difference was that this brand were offering such a good amount. And I thought I could take it or I could say no. And I said no to it. My mum was fuming. She was like, are you taking the mick? That's good money. But the thing was, in the long run, what it's done for me is my audience has gone, he has integrity. And that's what's been more important to me over the money. I mean, it would have been great, honestly. If they'd stuck a few more zeros on it, probably might have thrown my integrity out the window. No, I'm kidding.
Everyone's got a price.
No, genuinely, I kept my integrity. And there's so many situations now. And my sister-in-law's here in the room. She can attest for it because she's always hearing me mouth off about my manager telling me to do this or a brand telling me to do this. And I don't want to do it. And I won't do it. And like I said to you again, it's so easy for me to sit here with the following and making the money to say no, but I've always said no. I've always said it, whether I was a teacher, whether I was working in a call center, whether I was, making money on social media. I've always said no because if it doesn't feel right, I want to sleep at night. I'd rather sleep at night than not sleep at night. I mean, it'd be nice to sleep at night in a 5-bedroom house, but that's the whole other story.
Take the money, Shabaz.
No.
So, your book, I'm Rich, You're Poor. First and foremost, congratulations. This is Shabaz's first book. Let's give him a round of applause for getting this out there. Massive, massive achievement. What made you write this book?
When I started doing the content, I started making notes. It was going to be a long YouTube video. I was going to do like a discussion video or a podcast or something. But first, as I started writing it, I thought there's so much material here that I can talk about. But also, I love reading and I wanted to inspire people to read as well, especially for my community. I come from Blackburn, not a big population readers. I mean, Waterstones are shut down 3 times and it's opened back up. I don't know why they keep opening it back up. I'm kind of glad they do keep opening it back up, but it just keeps shutting down because they don't read. Yeah. So that was the main thing. My main priority was like, let's get people reading. And then also, I just felt like there's not so much I can say on social media that I can say in a book. And I've always wanted to do something like a book where I can get people I can inspire people. And it is one of those, like on the surface, it doesn't feel like it's an inspirational book, but I think there's messages in there that helps you. And I don't know if you were going to ask me this question, but I'll answer it anyway. Is the whole point of the book is to say to you, that you don't need to watch social media and feel bad. You can watch it for entertainment. You can watch the Kardashians. You can watch a bunch of influencers go off to these brand trips, and you don't have to feel bad about it. You don't have to compare yourself to it. You don't have to scroll through, influencer brand trips and go, oh, I wish I was in the Maldives, and make yourself feel bad about it. You can just look at it and go, oh, that's cool. Good for them. That's what the book was hoping to do. And I think it has done that for quite a lot of people. A lot of people that have read it have gone, actually, you know what? It's given me an insight into social media and gone, I don't have to be comparing myself to every person on there. The way I look, the way I eat, the way I dress, the way I bring my kids up, the way I look after my dogs, the way I clean my house. That's one thing as well. Mrs. Hinch is making a killing, isn't she? To tell you how to clean, because you're cleaning the wrong way. No, I'm not. I'm doing it the way I want to do it. And that's what social media is saying. Watch somebody else organize their house. You don't have to do that as well. You don't have to be made to feel bad about it. So yeah, that's what the book was for.
Quick question. This is probably the most important question you will answer today. Have you got your tickets to our next event yet? Seriously, guys, I'm not just bigging this up because it's my event. Genuinely, this is gonna be one of the best events of 2025. Out of everything that I do, I can honestly say this is the thing I put the most energy, effort, attention into, and it's one of the things I enjoyed the most. It's going to be a day jam-packed with incredible speakers talking about business, mindset, sales, and marketing. And not only is there going to be some incredible speakers, but this is going to be a room filled with people who are committed to being the best version of themselves, which I would say is going to be quite a good room to be in if you want to achieve more in your life. So if you haven't already, make sure you click the link in the show notes, get your tickets, and I'll be so excited to see you there on Sunday, the 2nd of February. Get your tickets. Have you got them yet? Right, we'll get back to the episode. Is there anyone here who one day would love to publish a book if you haven't already? Just see some hands, anybody? Yeah, it's a massive achievement.
Yeah.
Obviously, for those of us that would love to do this one day, what was the process actually like? Give us the insights, give us some tips.
The writing is the easiest bit. The writing's the easiest bit, isn't it? Like, let's be honest. I think the process of writing it, having it put together, I had a co-writer because I'm not that good at wording. I had it all written out in Shabaz language, so like, there was a lot of innits in there. And there was a lot of like, I'm telling you, you know what I mean? There was a lot of you know what I means in there. And then he sort of cleaned it up for me, made it professional. Yeah. He's from the South as well, as you can imagine. Like, he put all the posh words in there. And what I then did was took it to a publisher, went to so many publisher meetings. And that's what the hardest bit was, having somebody else then critique your work and also an editor taking out your work. And that was where I struggled, was fighting the battle of absolutely not. You are not taking out the fact that I hate the Tories out of there. Not a chance. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you've bashed, on every single page you've bashed Tories. Can you take some of it out? No, I can't. You know what I mean? So it was one of those things where like I really was fighting a battle with a bunch of people who don't know you. They are publishing your book. They are going to offer you a 6-figure deal or whatever it is and send it around to 1 million stores or whatever it is. What do you say? Do you go, okay, I'll take it out? Or do you go, I want to keep that in because I know why I'm saying that. That is hard. That was what I struggled with. Then once it got once a publisher we signed, then going from one person telling you to 15, 20 people now going, you need to put this on the cover, you need to put this in the side, you need to take this out, you need to change the name of this, you need to do that. That was where I struggled the most. And then again, once it got published and once it was on the shelves, the promo for it, going and selling your book to people and wanting people to just understand what you're talking about was so hard because I trusted my product. I loved my book and I love my book and I stand by it, but telling other people that it's a good book and to read it is so hard because on social media I never had to sell myself. With the book I really had to sell myself. You know what I mean? Like the amount of conversations I had to have with telling people. So that's the hardest bit. So if you want to publish a book, honestly, some really thick skin and some really and a backbone to fight for what you believe in is really important.
In terms of selling the book, was there anything now you've learned that you didn't know that could be good advice in terms of the actual sales?
Publishers are really backwards and they have no idea what they're doing. Genuinely. They have
so
no
self-publish next time?
Yes, I would say so, but also just make sure that you stick with your guns. Because for me, I was telling them that I'm on social media, sell my book on social media. Like podcasts, online shows, let me sell it online. They were going, but we got you a newspaper article, The Guardian, The Sun. absolutely not. Like, yes, brilliant, The Guardian, The Sun, no. So there was like those kind of things where they were like, wouldn't it be great if you did a radio show? And like, I'm not knocking them. I'm not saying that is not reach, because there's a lot of people that still listen to radio. There's a lot of people that still read, magazines or books, newspapers. But also you're knocking out a whole market of people because you're not ready for that conversation, or you don't know what you're doing. And so I think that was what I've learned, is I will stick by my guns a bit more. And also authentic promos. All my promotions, if I don't know if you've seen them like rolling on the floor and stuff. All my
That was
promos,
my favourite,
the rolling on the floor. All my promos have just been me, because I love my book, and if I can't sell you my book, then it's not worth it. I really don't need a bunch of influencers to sell my book. I really didn't need, like, Davina McCall's on the front cover, the head of Instagram's on the front cover. They never posted about my book. They never said anything by Shabaz's book. I sold it myself, and because I believe in it. And when you're watching me, you see I believe in my book. You're hearing me believe in my book. You're going to buy my book, hopefully. I got 2 copies in the back if anyone wants one. Yeah. Handing them out.
So people will be like, yes, I want to publish a book. They see you with the millions of followers. And I think a very real problem for a lot of people is they've got this thing called life that they're trying to manage. And they're navigating, whether it be being a parent, full-time job, and they've got these dreams, these aspirations to maybe grow their social media, but they hear you say you need to be consistent, and it's like, oh, you need to, be authentic, know what you're posting about, and they're like, I just feel overwhelmed with the time. And I think one of the things that I really admire about you is you built the whole thing with a full-time job as a teacher.
Absolutely, yeah.
And anybody, can we just give some respect for that? Because anybody who knows, it's not an easy job. Full stop, the end. And then he also built millions of followers and published a book. So I think you're one of the best people to ask for those people right now who have these dreams and aspirations, but they're just struggling to balance and manage their time to get out there. What advice would you give them?
I sacrificed a lot of what I love and a lot of relationships for it. So that's bad advice. I'd say, like, I did sacrifice a lot of my own mental health in the pursuit of doing stuff that I thought was right.
Do you think, though, this is an interesting question that we sort of touched upon earlier today, that on some level that is unavoidable? Because I talk a lot about balance and sustainability, but on some level, I've never sat with anyone like yourself who's done something substantial who doesn't say that. No,
yeah, 100%. On some level, there's going to be some sort of sacrifice you're going to have to make. It is what it is. Just the road to success isn't easy, and genuinely, I have given up a lot. But do you know what I found that was most important? There was the relationships that I might have suffered under me trying to get where I am. Well, they stuck around. They stayed. They stayed the whole course because they knew I was doing something. So all these people would understand. Like, I've had friends who, whose parents, they never grew up with really parents that were there because they were grafting. It's only when they got older they realized that actually my parents did a lot of work for me. My dad wasn't around a lot, but that man grafted. He worked day and night so I could sit here and stand here and do what I do, have an education, be brought up in a country where I have free education, free healthcare, and all that because he worked his ass off and he made sacrifices. It is, whilst I say that, there is also the fact that I don't want you to go out there and think, just leave your kids, to fend for themselves because you need to be a social influencer. I'd say it's more along the lines of there are going to be things that you will give up. There are going to be things that you give up, that you love to do. But at the same time, the reward from it is worth it. I think the end result is probably worth it. I mean, what I did a lot of during that time was, I remember when I did your podcast as well, I was running from I remember when I did Steph's Packed Lunch, it was at 12 o'clock. I finished my lesson at 9, 10 o'clock, drove to Leeds, did Steph's Packed Lunch, drove back with full TV makeup on and forgot that I was going into a classroom full of teenagers with full TV makeup on. And I taught, finished, marked some papers, woke up the next day and had an interview the next day. So it was a lot of real grafting and hard work. But now I can sit and I can just on a Sunday drive to Leeds, chill, come and have a chat, go home and chill. You know what I mean? So I had to graft and I had to do that grafting. So it's a tough one, isn't it? Because
the
on the flip
reality.
side, I am saying try and find the joy, but then do find the joy somewhere. So you can graft, but also still find the joy and have a break. You know what I mean? Look after yourself as well at the same time. Don't spend your entire day that being your sole purpose as well. Yeah, so I hope that answered it.
It does. I think there's a lot in that. People can find it a bit like, oh, do I have a sustainable, balanced approach, or do I work hard? And I think it's like anything, it's both. You know, and I said earlier about things being in seasons. There's going to be times where you have to put the foot down and you have to put in the graft. And then there's other times where you can ease up and focus more on balance. It's about being honest with yourself. What season are you in right now? Like, what is needed right now? Are you cool? Can you coast along and drive over here and be chill? Or is there something more that you desire, that you know you could have, that you want, that's going to take the work? And that's about self-awareness. It's about being honest with yourself. Shabaz, it's been great. What I'm going to do now is some of our general questions that I ask every guest. I did ask you last time.
Yeah.
I'm hoping you've forgotten what you said, because
Probably.
I'm interested if things have maybe evolved and changed, okay? So these are the general questions. So the first question is, what is some of the worst advice you've received in your life, and why?
Can I give you over the last year?
It's going to be about the publishers again, isn't it?
No, worst advice. Oh God. Yeah, it's probably people telling me to do things that I don't want to, doesn't feel right for me.
Yeah.
That's been the worst advice, where it's just, there's a niggling feeling that something's not right. That's the advice I didn't take. And I took my own advice. I was like, don't do it. And then it worked out in the end. But actual worst advice was don't do it. That's probably the worst advice. Somebody said, don't do it. Something that I know I wanted to do, they went, no, don't do that. It's not going to work. That's been the worst advice. Anytime someone tells you not to do something that you know in your gut is going to work, do it. Do the opposite.
All right, what's some of the best advice that you still stand by, live by, follow today?
Your integrity matters. Who you are as a person is more important than anything else in the world. What you do with your life and the legacy you leave behind and the person you are is important, because there are 8 billion people. I don't know. 8 billion, 7.5 billion, whatever it is. Every single one of us is different. There are no two people alike. You need to be you, because you will sell yourself, or whatever it is you're doing, your business, whatever it is that you want to achieve, you need to be yourself. That's the most important advice.
Nice. So obviously people see the success, they see how well you're doing, but we're all human, we all have challenges, we all have struggles, and I think, you know, there's a quote that many of you will be familiar with: for every level, there's another devil, right? So just because you make money or get followers or build a successful business, there's new challenges. So I'm wondering today, as you sit on this stage now, is there something right now that you are still struggling with at this moment?
Yeah, 100%. I think it's that writer's block that I have, where I sometimes still second guess myself. It never goes away. I don't think you can achieve so much, but it'll never go away. You'll always think, I should be doing more. I need to be doing more. I've wrote a whole book about don't look at the internet and don't compare yourself to people. What do? Compare myself to people, because it's who we are. It's human nature. We do compare ourselves to other people. The thing I struggle with at the moment more than anything is, what do I want next? And am I constantly going to keep chasing the next thing? And I think that's my biggest struggle. I'm like, am I really content? And when am I going to just be content? And I think that's what it is. I'm happy, but am I really content? And that bothers me, because I'm a really headstrong person. I've had to be that person. But I know that there's moments where I go, what do you want next? And is it achievable? And also, do you really need that next? Or can you not just be happy with what you have so far? Or do you need to constantly be striving for the next thing or the next thing? So that goalpost keeps moving and I keep trying to run towards it. Do I really need to? Or can I just chill? Like at the moment, for example, I'll use as an example, there are people I'm seeing online that are going to all these events, going to all these nice places. And I always look and I think, should I be doing that? Should I be getting more exposure? Should I be doing more TV work? Should I be doing this? Should I be writing a second book? Should I be having a podcast? Or could I just be sat in bed making videos, making money and living my best life, going on holidays, taking my family everywhere, you know, paying my niece's tuition fees? Should I just be happy with that? So that's the struggle I'm having at the moment.
I love that. I think it's a really important thing for all of us to consider. There's a cost to everything. And although when we look at goals, we look at the benefit, it's about being realistic. And the more you do achieve, the more you become aware of the cost and the sacrifice, like you referred to. So it's about going, okay, what's the goal? But then it's about going, well, what's it going to take to get there? And is it worth it? And I think just as a couple of questions to ask yourself, is it worth the cost? Shabaz has said he had to sacrifice a lot to get to where he's got. He said it's worth it. But then the other stuff you're now looking at, you might go, do you know what? It's not actually worth it.
Some of it isn't worth it. Like you said, like the cost, the question is that, is it worth it? But also, do I need more all the time? Do you really need to have more, or have you just been programmed to believe that that's what you need to do? I had a friend who was like so content with just being a housewife. And genuinely, the girl loved it. She loved bringing up her kids. She loved watching them grow and being the best mom, having a clean house. And I was like, that's brilliant for you. Her husband, on the other hand, wanted to be a millionaire. He wanted a gated community. He wanted a big mansion. He wanted 15 cars. And they struggled so much because their conflict was, she was like, I am fine with my terraced house that I love, that I built from scratch, my mattress that I bought, my bed that I put together. He wanted, butlers and all that, and a lifestyle that he was told was what a man's lifestyle needs to be. Or he wanted the pipe dream, the millionaires. And I think that's where I have had to be realistic with myself. Growing up, that's what I was bombarded with, was achieve more, be a millionaire and have a private island and go to all these fancy trips. And now that I'm not going on private islands, by the way, FYI, just not there yet. But I mean, where I am now, I'm being able to buy a lot more, I'm being able to do a lot more, I'm being able to help so much. I do so much charity work. I am happy with that. But there is always that person inside that's constantly like, do I want to be a bit more? Do I need to be a bit more? So yeah, it is one of those things. Just remember that you can just be content with what you have. That's also okay. If this is what you want to do, if you want to be a teacher for the rest of your life, be a teacher for the rest of your life. Don't let anyone tell you you're not successful. If you want to be a mum, be a mum. If you want to just go out and work 9 to 5, do that. You don't have to be a millionaire or make millions of pounds every year. If that's what you want to do as well, do that as well. There's nothing wrong with it.
Give it up for Shabaz, everybody. Absolutely amazing. All right, final question before we do a little bit of a Q&A. It's the final question I always ask. Can you remember what you said last time?
I don't even remember the question was.
You listen to the podcast every week.
Yeah, no, I do, yeah.
Okay, final question. What is your personal definition of success?
Oh, God. Now, my personal we should put like that back to back. My personal definition.
Always creating content.
Yeah, I'm going to clip those two together. My personal definition of success is being happy in what you do genuinely. Like, I'm going to say that. Honestly, like the money's great. The social media clout's great. The comments are great. The community's great. But I'm happy. And that's what's most important to me. If you'd asked me a year ago, I don't think I was a happy person. I am now happier. Like, I'm not fully happy. I'm happier, and I think that's so important. I need to remember that I am happy, I am content, and I'm successful.
Woo! And make sure you get his book, everybody, so he can be even more successful and happy. Yeah? All right, thank you so much. We're going to get Dave back on stage now, Lisa. Thank you so much to every single one of you that has listened and or watched this podcast episode with the amazing Shabaz Ali. And I want to say a massive thanks to Shabaz. He's just been such an incredible supporter of me, such an incredible supporter of this show. And how amazing was he at the event? It was so good to have him there speaking. And I know he stayed around for ages afterwards, meeting people, having pictures with people. Just an absolute all-round lovely person and living legend. So thank you so much, Shabaz. I literally love you to pieces. And if you've been watching this episode, you will see that Shabaz was speaking at a live event And I'm really, really excited that our next event is happening on Sunday, the 2nd of February. So it's just a matter of weeks at this stage, really. It is currently our fastest selling event. We've sold more tickets than ever at this stage. We've still weeks to go. It's also our biggest lineup of speakers. And I just want to say, if you're on the fence or you don't know a lot about it, or you're just open to consider being at this event, please don't let this one slip you by. Out of everything I do here with this show, the live events are the things that I put so much effort into and so much care and attention into to really make them the best day possible. They're an opportunity to meet some great people in person, which I think is important, but also to learn from some incredible people talking on stage. This event is called Business Mastery Live. It's happening in Leeds at the City Centre Hilton Hotel, and it is for you if you want to learn more about how to get yourself out there, sell better, market better, build your network, build a social media audience where you get a good following. And at the heart of it, live a happier, healthier, more fulfilling life, which is what my whole mission is. So I just want to make sure you are aware of the power of this live event. It's high energy, it's good fun. It's all about empowering you to build your confidence, to learn the skill sets, to be able to make more money, to be able to follow your passions, and to be able to live a life of purpose, meaning, and fulfillment. If that sounds good, and you don't want to pay loads for your tickets like most of the other events are, like I've been to events like this where they're hundreds of pounds a ticket, we're nothing like that. Just click the link below in the show notes and secure your ticket now before we sell out. And I'm very, very confident this is going to be our first official sold out event very, very soon. Just to finish this episode, I just want to play our amazing trailer. Check it out and then head to the link below, get your ticket, and I'll see you there live in person on Sunday, the 2nd of February at the Hilton Hotel, Leeds.
The atmosphere was absolutely electric.
The speakers that Matt gets, who are always phenomenal.
It's so inspirational, it's so motivational.
The speaker for everyone.
I seriously think out of everything I've ever done, putting on these events is the thing I enjoy the most, and it has the potential to genuinely impact every single area of your life.
This is a place where I felt really comfortable as someone who's just started up my own business.
If you're a business owner, if you are looking to start a business like I've recently done, this is the perfect thing to do.
No matter what stage you are at in starting a business, what your ambition is, every speaker you'll find something you can relate to.
Everybody in there today has learned so much, and it's been such a cracking time. So do you know what? If there's another one, I'm there.
If you haven't been to one of these events, get your tickets if you haven't got them.
If you take action, I can almost 100% guarantee you that it will positively change your life.